Welcome. It's your guy, Jesus Hawthorne, and we're back. Like to welcome everybody to Talk That Talk 245. Man, I got some good information, man. I got a good topic that we're gonna be discussing today, and I'm gonna go ahead and break it down to you, man, so that way you can already grasp what am I talking about. There you go. That's the question. That's the question of tonight's podcast. Who had the toughest journey to the GOAT debate? That's the toughest journey. Now, what I mean by this, when it comes to these two individuals, everybody has an opinion, and in regarding of who the GOAT. Now, that's not the debate. What I want to talk about is when we sit back and we scale it to even be in position for your name to be, called upon to be a part of the debate. Who had the tougher journey? Who had the tougher journey to even get in position to be one of the two? Because there's only two people. Most time when you of course, me personally, I believe Kobe Bryant is the GOAT. Skill wise, for most of the reasons I already talked about that on the previous podcast. But a lot of people, he's either LeBron or Jordan. I'm gonna talk about who had the journey to get there, who had the toughest journey. So I did some little research, because I don't like some people who just sit there and just be talking about crazy stuff and they ain't researched nothing. I don't sit back and do a little research. You know what I'm saying? And we just go break everything down step by step from the very beginning to towards the end of their career. All right. So we go do a side by side, play by play type thing. Okay, dealing with MJ. He came from a 2-parent household. He had his mother and his father, and he also had siblings. He was 1 out of 5. He had 2 older brothers. And for those who have siblings, man, you already understand how that's beneficial in regarding of development. One, he had a father that also played baseball. That's why he kind of delivered a love of baseball early in his youth. Then on top of that, you had 2 older brothers that kind of pushed that competitive spirit. So a lot of times when people ask that question, like, man, Jordan was a dog. He competed on everything. Like, he was relentless. It was nonstop because he was the baby boy out of 3 boys, and he had older brothers. So you already know, if you come from an athletic family, competitive background, and you got older brothers, you can feel the punches, you can feel the elbows coming across your chest that are just build up their character. So that's where that development came from. LeBron James, he came from a single mother, and it was him in Akron, Ohio. I'm pretty sure he went outside, he had friends and all this and that. So when not even having a male role model in the house to set the platform of what manhood is supposed to look like, and how to conduct yourself and how to operate in that space, he didn't have that. He didn't have that. Single mother. Not to say that she didn't do what she had to do, and he became who he is. But right now we're discussing the tougher road. All right. Now, in regarding the siblings, sometimes who is your father and who is your siblings, your brothers, that matter. Now, he had 2 older brothers, one named Larry, one named James. One was 5'4", one was 5'5". But they was all athletic, and they say Larry, they got videos of Larry dunking, at 5'5". Basically, he was like another Spud Williams. He had a genetic freak, man. He can jump. I ain't talking about burly dunking. I'm talking about brother was doing windmills, reverses. So this is where Jordan comes from. This is lineage. This is his brother. Now, his brother also played basketball. They say he played college basketball at North Carolina of Wilmington. Then he went pro. Now, he didn't go NBA, nor did he go overseas. Not according to the research that I have. They said he played for the World Basketball League. So this is in his bloodline. That's the older brother. So most situations when you got an older brother like that, they pass down that information to the younger brother. They pass it down. They give him the game. Hey, I'm gonna teach you early some stuff that I learned late. So this is Michael Jordan's household. This is what he kind of built up into. LeBron James, for all we know, he was a kid, picked up the basketball, went outside and played, made friends, this, and that. He normally was the top dog of his space, of the people that he was associated with. I haven't heard no story of somebody saying, "Yeah, I had to grab him by the, what I'm saying, put my arm around him, took her to the gym and all that stuff." I don't hear no older guy, no older mentor outside of a youth coach. All right, now there's been plenty of videos of Isaiah Thomas giving LeBron James his kudos. For those who don't heard, Isaiah Thomas already proclaimed LeBron James as the GOAT, kind of similar to what we discussing now. So it was that video kind of sparked this and that made me want to go do a little research. They said one thing Isaiah Thomas said, hey, man, I had Bobby Knight as a head coach. I forgot who the Pistons coach was at the time. He said, these are the people putting me in position because they taught me basketball. I got taught basketball with some of the best minds of, from collegiate to the NBA. I had some of the best minds around me to kind of mold me to help me develop, become the player that I am. He said, who did LeBron James have? He said, you got a kid straight from high school coming to the pros, and intellectually and with understanding of the game, he ain't no different than a pros. There wasn't no fall off. There wasn't no wait for him to catch on mentally to understand what the game was. He was prepared, fresh out of high school. So I did some research and found out, man, who was that dude coach? His name was Keith Dambrat. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. If I'm wrong, chop it up to my heart. You know what I'm saying? I'll chop it up to my head, not my heart. But at the same time, his high school coach wasn't no regular coach. His high school coach had actually coached in college. He coached at Central Michigan. So I believe two things need to happen. Either LeBron James need to get hell of a kudos for having an outstanding mind of understanding of basketball, or what I believe, people need to give kudos to this coach. Because apparently when LeBron came out of high school, he was intellectually prepared for the NBA because there wasn't no drop off. And matter of fact, to this day, they call him a genius of the things that he does on the court of recognizing other teams' offense and defensive sets, and even teaching. They said there've been times he was on the court teaching his opponent what they supposed to be doing. So he got a brilliant mind. He's known for being very smart on the court. So I'm giving kudos to that coach, man. I believe Keith, man, somebody need to give him props because whatever he knew, he prepared those kids. He prepared his athletes. And LeBron James knew what he needed to know to be ready for the NBA. Somebody had to do that. Even Isaiah, he didn't have no big name at the time, but according to the credentials that I looked up, man, shout out to Keith. All right. So then with Michael Jordan, his high school coach was only known for cutting him. The guy name was Cliff Pop Aaron. And when I researched him, on thing to pull it up, hey man, this the guy that cut Michael Jordan when he was like a sophomore, from the varsity squad. And but at the time, they tell you that Michael Jordan was only like 5'10" when he got cut. He wasn't like he wasn't a 6'4" guy that he ended up developing to like going into his senior year. His senior year, they say like he had a major growth spurt. He jumped up to 6'4". So that's when he got on the court, of course. He got on the court. You know what I'm saying? And he was jumping out of the gym because, like I said, man, genetically in their family, they got hops. 'Cause little Larry, 5'5", dunking like Spud Webb. So, but then in regarding of learning the game, Michael Jordan had Dean Smith. Here goes some credentials to Dean Smith, man. He getting taught by the best. He won an NCAA championship as a freshman in '82. With Dean Smith, he won 2 championships, NCAA championships. He won. He appeared in 11 Final Fours. Won 13 ACC championships. Won NIT championship. Also coached an Olympic team. Won him a gold medal. When he retired from the NCAA, he had 879 wins. Are you hearing me? So Michael Jordan had access to the best. Matter of fact, even to this day, when you think of North Carolina basketball, the only name that comes to mind in regarding of the coach is Dean Smith. So Michael Jordan had access to the best. Then he goes on to the Olympics. He won him 2 gold medals, one in '84, and everybody know in '92 he the dream team. So Michael Jordan got 2 gold medals. Then look on the other side of LeBron James. He didn't have no college. Once again, fresh out of high school. But when it comes to the Olympics, he went to the Olympics 4 times. He won him 3 gold and got him a bronze. First time he went to the Olympics, he got him a bronze. It was in 2004. Went back 2008, 2012, and then in 2024. All 3 of those situations, he got him a gold. NBA coach, because that matters in regarding your career. That matters. They both got identical situations. They first 7 years in the NBA, they didn't win the championship. They went 7 years without one. 7 years until they finally won their first one. I apologize. It went 7 years before they finally won their first one. In regarding of coaching, Michael Jordan first coach Doug Collins. They went all the way to the playoffs. They decided to make a move. They didn't like the method that Doug Collins was using. His game plan was, make everybody get out the way and get Michael Jordan the ball. That was good to make Michael Jordan a star, but that wasn't going to be enough to win a championship in the NBA, because it was better teams. There was better teams out there. Matter of fact, the team that was really kicking the Bulls' butt at that time, everybody knows, was the elbow Pistons. Detroit Pistons, dropping them elbows on. So that's when they brought in Phil Jackson. Everybody knows the story with Phil. They won them 6 championships. Now, one thing about that, them only 2 coaches, Doug Collins, Phil Jackson. That creates stability and structure. You operating in a space of stability and structure. With one organization, only 2 coaches. That's a lot of the stability and structure. Now, on the LeBron James side, he had Paul Silas, then Brandon Malone, Mike Brown. That was his first one at Cleveland. And went to Miami Heat. Very explosive. They won them 2. They won them 2 NBA championships. That's when he first got his championships. Him, Wade, Chris Bosh. They went down there, did their thing. All right, he goes back to Cleveland. And David Blunt, and then finally Tyronn Lue. And of course, they won him a championship with Tyronn Lue. At the time, Tyronn Lue was a rookie. A lot of people believe that LeBron was really running the huddle himself. They said he had a lot of control over that situation there. And then, of course, he goes to the Lakers. Luke Walton won a championship with Frank Vogel, Darren Ham, and currently they got J.J. Redick. One thing you can say, man, he ain't anchoring in a space of stability like Michael Jordan. Like, I don't know if it was just a situation of a different time, different eras, but that Michael Jordan era, Chicago Bull era, man, that was like a Disney movie. You know what I'm saying? There's a whole bunch of structure with that. For LeBron James to be the star that he is, when you sit back and you look at the stats, man, that boy almost operating in the space of a journeyman. How he bounced it around. you know. But he's still winning at the places that he's going. But except for the Miami, after he left Miami, wherever he went, he won a championship. So in regarding of teammates, kind of broke it down. Who had what as Hall of Famers? Uh, for Michael Jordan, of course, he had Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman. You know, those guys, assassins at what they did. Scottie Pippen, like, what they call him, Swiss Army knife, 6'9", a guy like 210 pounds. He always guarded the best offensive man that the opposing team had. Dennis Rodman, rebound machine. I think Dennis Rodman ain't number like, they say 6'7", 6'8", but he just had this tenacity that, you know, nobody can get him off the boards, man. He grabbing all the rebounds. Then you had Tony Kukoc. Tony Kukoc was the European Michael Jordan at that time. Matter of fact, after the '92 Dream Team, you know, everybody knows the story how they shut him down. But in Europe, Tony Kukoc, he was getting the same type of hype like Michael Jordan was getting in the States. And guess what? The general manager at the Bulls, they went and put him into the fold. Yeah. Part of the one of the greatest NBA teams in history. With that 72 win Chicago Bulls. Yeah, Tony Kukoc. Then you had Robert Parrish. He's also a Hall of Famer, but everybody knows the story of Rob Parrish. That, you know, he was in the twilight of his career. You know, but everybody know what he did when he was with the Boston Celtics and things of that nature. So I wouldn't say he had a great impact on Michael Jordan's career. So on the other side, you got LeBron James. These are the Hall of Famers that he had. He had Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, Ray Allen. Ray Allen at that time was like in the twilight of his career. You know, he had spent majority of his time in Seattle, won him a championship with Boston. Then he decided to switch sides due to Deion Sanders. People don't even speak about that reality to Deion Sanders. He won with one team, then went to the opposition and helped them win one. You know, only Deion Sanders done that before. Shaq, yeah, but when LeBron James and Shaq hooked up, Shaq was in the twilight of his career. He was literally a shell of himself, just stealing checks off of his name and reputation. But, you know, he was pretty much out of there. Unfortunately, the same thing with Carmelo Anthony. You know, why Carmelo Anthony wasn't the reason why they didn't win a ring with the Lakers, but he did exactly what he was brought in there to do. Unfortunately, the Lakers as a team just didn't have enough to win at that time. So that was really unfortunate because everybody who's an NBA fan, everybody wanted Carmelo to win a ring. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that didn't happen. So that's the breakdown. So according to the stats that you're seeing, Michael Jordan, 2-parent household, older brother, basically groomed to be an assassin. You know what I'm saying? Because with the big brothers and the competition, and you got a father there kind of edging it on. You had LeBron James, single mother, had to kind of figure out on his own. Somehow, you know, he whoever his father is had to be an athletic freak for the guy to be 6'8", walking around here at 250, that could jump out of the gym with the skills he possessed. Shout out to his high school coach who had some college background that poured a lot of information into him to get him where he was NBA ready. So everybody had a path. These two guys, who's the GOAT? Michael Jordan, six NBA finals. You know, he was a stone cold killer on the court. That's the way he was raised, bro. That was the way he was raised. When LeBron James hit the court, to me, and a few others who really watch basketball, he was Magic Johnson 2.0. This style of game was like Magic Johnson. You know, he wanted to make his teammates better. This whole thing, he was taught to make the right play, make the right pass. You know, dish it up to this guy. That guy supposed to be able to knock it down. A lot of times when he was in Cleveland, the people that he had around him, unfortunately, they couldn't knock the shots down. So everybody put pressure on that boy. Hey man, you need to be the one. You got to take the shot. So he had to restructure his game. Michael Jordan had to do the same thing. When Doug Collins left, Phil Jackson told Mike, hey man, you need to give up the rock. You got to trust your teammates more. You got to operate within the system. LeBron James, he went from learning how to operate within the system, making his teammates better, to now, bro, you need to become a stone cold killer. Which personality trait do you think is easier to adapt to? That's the debate. Who you think had the hardest road? LeBron James, single mother, no father figure, no brothers, no siblings, nobody there really grooming you. You got to get out there and figure it out and make it work for yourself. Michael Jordan, growing up in an environment where you getting, you know what I'm saying, they throwing you in the fire, iron sharpening iron. You know, either bomb or bust. You know what I'm saying? Either you will come out hard, or they go curry you out, as we call it back home. I'm from Waco, Texas. When it comes to them dogs, you mess around. That's for those who fight dogs. You mess around and fight your dog too early, or whatever the case may be, and they get beat up. You become a curse. Like it ain't nothing but a pet now. It ain't gonna defend the house. Yeah. You can't make no money off this thing. It's a cur. It's just a dog. Only thing you can do is feed it right now. Well, Michael Jordan had become a cur. It made a big dog out of him. You dig what I'm saying? So I want you to do me a favor, because I know you got an opinion. You watching this video right now, you got an opinion. You talking right now as we speak. Do me a favor, man. Drop it in the comments, man. Like, share, tag somebody into this. Hey, who had the toughest journey to the GOAT debate? Now, I'm not telling you who I think the GOAT is. That's for you to say. You tell me who you think the GOAT is. But what I really need to hear from you is, who do you believe had the toughest journey? So for those that don't know, this is what we're talking about. Who had the toughest journey, man? Hey, so check this out, man. The guy hates some Hawthorne. I'm glad that you done jumped on, man. Once again, man, like, share, subscribe. Man, we got a goal. We're trying to get up to 1,000 people by the end of April. And all the way this can happen is with your assistance, man. Help me out, man. Share this with your people, man. Let's talk about this, man. Let's talk that talk. 254. Until the next video, man, y'all stay blessed, man. Y'all stay safe out there.